Greetings, my excellent friends. We are on case 4 of Ace Attorney Investigations. Tonight and tomorrow, we're adding Sunday to the Ace Attorney rotation, which put together means I reckon we have maybe 3 weeks. Possibly 4. Like, case 5 is big, but we've done cases 1 to 3 in like 6 weeks, so probably like 3-ish weeks. We've already done a section of 4 after all, so really it just depends on how long 5 ends up being. After that's done, we'll be doing something else on Saturday and Sundays. Obviously I do want to play Investigations 2, but I'm not gonna go straight to it. But we'll see what happens in between then and there. Now, I need to make sure I open the right game. There we go. No? There we are. Right. Took a second. We are in Turnabout Reminiscence Middle. Interesting. How many to be continueds are there in this one? We got up to the first one. There's a second, a third. Yeah, this is part 2 of 4. So I don't quite get it. Before we start, I had an interesting couple of, well, not a couple of days, but I had an interesting evening wrestling with emulators for something else. Actually, I might tell that story a little later when there's more people here. Yeah, let's just start for now. Also, it is still too goddamn hot in this room, so the air conditioner will be on, at least for the next little while. September 10, 4:45 p.m., District Court, 3rd floor lobby. We have half a gumshoe, looking... Well, we don't really know how he's looking because we can't see his face, but his fist would indicate consternation. We have the ghost of Manfred von Karma here in this flashback, with the cane that he may or may not use to abuse people. And then we have police. We have a cop lying on the couch, another one guarding the door, one of them dealing with a violent water fountain, and another one bent over. I don't know what he's doing. And then we have baby Franziska. Let's see what they're about. Sir. I believe Von Karma was a ghost 5 years before he died. As flashback ghost. What is to become of the trial into the Codopian Embassy staff member's murder? Indeed. Since both the suspect and the prosecutor are now dead, the case will be dismissed. In other words, the trial ends here prematurely. Yeah, I guess... I imagine it doesn't happen super often, but... there really is nothing to do when the person believed to be responsible for a crime is dead. Like, you can't really do a trial. There's no one else to put on trial. As a kid, you thought one bullet instantly killed you no matter where you were shot. Blame Contra for that. I mean, instant? No. But any bullet in any place can equal death if the bleeding is not seen to in time. Any wound deep enough in any place can do that. That's how we work. Blood drain is effectively a constant HP ticker. Huh. Looks like you'll have to wait a little bit longer for your big debut. I suppose it can't be helped. The evidence for this trial will be transferred to you in a little while. Sir, what do you think about the murder of the Cadopian Embassy staff member? And the murders of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Vell? What an outrageous circus it has all become. But Faraday brought it all upon himself with his naivete. An outrageous circus? Right, sir. I grow weary of this topic. Edgeworth, I will have you assigned to a different case. Papa, you'll come and watch my courtroom debut next, won't you? I'll consider it. Sir, if I may, please allow me to continue with the investigation. Whatever for? I know that there is already a suspect in the murder of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell. However, there is not enough evidence to prove that it was he who committed the crime. I'd like to continue investigating in order to find the perfect proof of his guilt. The perfect proof? Don't make me laugh. A worthless person like you has no right to claim such a thing as perfection. Papa. Who do you think is the real culprit behind these murders? Miles and I, we're competing to see who can find the real killer first. Plus, being able to investigate a real crime scene is a really rare opportunity. It would give us some real-life experience, wouldn't you agree? If you want to investigate this case that much, then do as you wish. Then you're allowing us to continue. In court, your top priority is to win, and a solid investigation is one of the keys to winning. We have to make sure you become recognized as a first-rate prosecutor, don't we? It wouldn't be very interesting otherwise. I'm returning home now. Edgeworth, Franziska, see to it I'm not disturbed, save for the results of your competition. Yes, sir. Of course, Papa. Franziska, thank you. What are you thanking me for? Your logic earlier was built on that scruffy detective's lie. That means that the competition is still on. Yes, just as you wished. I couldn't let you get off so easily. Now then, let's see how well you fare on the investigation from here, Miles Edgeworth. I know I don't have enough information yet, so my first order of business will be to question anyone involved with this case. Good God, Franziska is the partner. Now that is new. As much as she was around in case 2, they literally had us work with the flight attendant in order to avoid having to work with Franziska. And Gumshoe, of course. It's interesting, Gumshoe's the only one who's been the investigative partner in like every single chapter at least once, right? because he was with us in this one. I don't know if he was with us in case 3. He was there, but I don't know if he was, like, in the menus. But he was in 1 and 2. Whereas Faraday, for all that she's, like, touted as this game's Maya Fey, she's not in case 1 or 2 at all, and she's only very minorly in this one as a baby. Anyway.
Yes, what is it? It feels like there's a whole backside to this case we're not seeing.
And here we had thought that it was a case where the 2 men had killed each other.
We're lacking in information. And as of karma, I can hardly call this a perfect investigation.
Indeed. It is as you say.
I can't believe we agree on something!
Just what is so revolting about agreeing?
Anyway, our first move should be to speak with everyone related to this case.
Indeed. Even if you had not said it, I was planning on doing so anyway. Ah! What was that lash for? Franziska was Edgeworth's first government mandate.
Do you think you can win this competition by simply showing that to me?
Not at all. In fact, I was planning to thank you. I wouldn't be a prosecutor today without you and your father.
I didn't really do much. You became a prosecutor first, that's all. But just you wait and see, Miles Edgeworth. Very soon I'll be a prosecutor too.
Good. Then we can both send criminals away together as colleagues.
But you can be sure that I will always get more convictions than you.
It's almost cute that she's going this far to insist that she'll always win. Almost.
The KG-8 incident, huh? The defendant was acquitted in that case, but I don't think we've seen the last of it.
The fact that he was acquitted on a lack of evidence is just revolting. It's inexcusable.
Yeah, if it was my papa, he would have been found guilty in 3 minutes flat.
Indeed. We would do well to watch and study more from our mentor, so that we may secure a conviction for all those we try. That will be our rule.
What's all this V business? Don't lump me in with you, Miles. Any suspect I come across will confess everything to me before we even reach the trial. I'll show you exactly who is the superior prosecutor.
Clearly only one of us is playing to win here. I was wondering what you think of this piece of evidence.
Asking people for help is breaking the rules, Miles. As I said earlier, this is a competition. A battle of wits. If you want to ask someone for an opinion, you should start with yourself.
In other words, you have no real opinions at all about this piece of evidence, do you? Excellent hand wave, though.
It's one of the weapons in this case. I pity Mr. Faraday. It's bad enough to be killed with evidence that he prepared himself, but to also be killed in a courthouse of all places. And right in the middle of one of the trials he was running too.
It just goes to show that nothing in life is predictable. Yeah, who'd die in a courthouse in the middle of a trial? This thing is so incredibly detailed. My inner modeling fanboy is impressed. I'm not exactly a fan of plastic models per se, but even I can sense the superb quality of this model.
I simply cannot comprehend how that man can feel so much love for such a trifle.
Oh? I see.
You're a disciple of my father, so you would do well to guard yourself against an interest in such unproductive things.
Yes, perhaps I should take up whipping people like the young lady over here.
It's an incredibly detailed model, isn't it?
I heard that it cost as much to make as it cost to build the courthouse itself.
What's the point of making such an expensive model?
I felt the same exact way upon hearing it.
It's so hard to understand such foolishness.
Agreed. You referring to Terry Falls, Hornbush? I suppose it hasn't, has it? But it will. Interestingly, though, that all of the in-courthouse deaths are flashback past chronology based. Nobody dies on the court floor in Phoenix's time. I can't stop the water, sir! It seems the man who was here earlier broke it by drinking from it too much.
Bunch of fools who pretended not to see the foolishly foolish actions of a foolish fool.
Well then, why don't you lend the officer a hand?
As if I should have anything to do with this. Besides, that water-drinking fool's mouse is the thing that officer should be covering. Let's give that officer a description of the water guzzler later.
She seems to have quite the grudge. Sounds to me like somebody wanted a drink.
Miles Edgeworth!
Yes?
What is the meaning of this bulletin board? Why are there so few trials posted?
It would appear that the entire week is devoted to Mr. Rell's trial.
Is the crime rate really that low in this country? Or maybe this police lacks proper motivation to get out there and catch the criminals?
I'm afraid I can't comment on that. However, I can say I have my doubts about the younger detectives.
Sounds to me like they're in need of a stricter hand. And I'll start my discipline regiment with that pathetic, filthy-coated detective.
I feel bad for the big guy, and yet I can find no suitable reason to stop her. What's the matter, officer?
I've been standing here for forever, sir, and I really need to go to the bathroom.
Why don't you just make a quick trip? The nearest one isn't that far, is it?
No, it's a short way down the hall beyond these doors, but I don't want to be blamed for anything that might happen while I'm gone, so I'm gonna hold it.
Perhaps Detective Gumshoe can be a positive influence on the force after all. Sir, nothing to report, sir. Is there no one who will make this man take responsibility for his actions on the job?
Looks like we have no choice but to report this to Papa. Then, this guard can have fun in a waking nightmare after being awakened from his dream.
Actually, let's not. I kind of feel sorry for him now. Oh. Still think shit to do over here. It's a bookshelf. What's this? Judge's Trial Exchange Log. It appears to be a journal where the various judges share their thoughts and ideas. The real daily lives of the judges are laid out here on these pages.
There's nothing about the court in here. It's just page after page of unrelated drivel.
Judging by the content, they are very enthusiastic about the courthouse's daily menu. And it would appear that fried oysters are a favorite.
I have no use for such foolishly foolish words from this foolishly foolish crowd.
Someone please assure me that this is not the true state of this country's judiciary. Hey, you! Ms. Yu.
Oh. It's you, Edgeworth. And who are you? Wait. You were at the crime scene just now, weren't you? You should be disbarred for not knowing who I am. I am Franziska von Karma, and I am about to become the successor to the family name. About to. I guess that means that for now, you're still just another kid. In which case, it's only natural that I didn't know who you are.
Why are you whipping me?
Anyway, it looks like they're planning to hold the evidence a bit longer. If there's one thing I can't stand, it's waiting.
I'm terribly sorry, but I have but a few more questions to ask of you.
all scrunched with lines on your forehead.
To ask of you. What exactly is so funny?
Sorry. I'm just bad at dealing with the super serious atmosphere.
Apparently they failed to teach you proper behavior at a crime scene in law school.
I feel much better now. So, what is it you want to talk about?
I'd like to inquire as to where you were at the time of the murder. Sorry about that. Alright.
We were in defendant lobby number 1 the whole time, up until we heard the gunshot. And by we, I mean Mr. Bad. If you don't believe me, feel free to ask him yourself.
You were with Detective Bad. Why?
We had a little something to discuss, that's all.
So I take it that you are acquaintances with Detective Bad.
Yeah, he was the detective in charge of the KG-8 incident.
Detective Bad is also related to that incident?
That's right. He was the one who was supposed to protect my sister, Cece. But you know how that turned out, don't you, Edgeworth? Miles Edgeworth, I have no idea what you two are talking about. I've heard of the KG-8 incident from my papa. But how does that case relate to you, Miss Yu? The victim of that case, CCU, was my little sister. You're making that super serious face again. I'm fine. Really. I just make it a point to rub some more salt in his wounded pride every time I see him.
The way she talks about doing that as she laughs away is kind of creepy.
Oh, speaking of Mr. Bad, he and Mr. Faraday. I'd say they met up just about every single time the Yatagarasu made a move. It was practically a given that the two would meet up at every one of the crime scenes.
I see. He did mention that he is in charge of the Yatagarasu investigation earlier. Maybe I should ask her what she knows about the Yatagarasu in more detail. Pretty suspicious, Miss Bad. You claim that at the time of the murder you were with Detective Bad.
But don't you lawyers usually discuss the trial with your clients during a recess? We do, and that's what I was planning to do. But Mr. Faraday was being rather threatening and he dragged Mr. Rell away. After that, Mr. Bad came into lobby number 1, so we just stayed there and talked.
And what did you talk with Detective Bad about?
Nothing interesting. I just insulted him some. Talked about how the trial is going, and then I insulted him some more.
Bloody... When she stopped laughing, her mouth seemingly spews nothing but insults.
Anyway, Mr. Bad and I were in defendant lobby number 1 when the murders occurred. So I really can't tell you anything about the hallway or lobby number 2.
I see. I'd like to ask you a few questions about your client, Mr. Mac Rell. Now, your client first claimed to be the Yatagarasu, is that correct?
Yeah. Once I heard that it was the Yatagarasu that had made off with the evidence from KG-8. I began to ask Mr. Rell all sorts of questions, but to no avail. Turns out Mr. Rell was not the Yatagarasu. He had just made that up.
He made it up?
Mr. Rell's crime was caught on tape by the security cameras. But there is no footage of him sneaking into the Kodopian embassy itself. Hold on for just 1 second. Then you mean to say that you knew that he was not the real Yatagarasu? And that he was just another cold-blooded killer? And you were ready to defend him? Yes, that's right.
I see. So a defense lawyer is actually just someone whose job it is to cover for criminals.
That's why defense lawyers are so detestable. But they are no match for us von Karmas. I don't believe it. You're serious? Why don't you save that face for something really worth being serious about? And Edgeworth, do you remember what I said earlier? I'm still on the hunt for leads regarding the KG8 incident, alright?
And for that you have not a single qualm about defending a known killer?
Don't put words in my mouth. I said no such thing. The only way I had to get close to Mr. Rell was to be his lawyer. I had no intention of covering for him. Ever. So don't you dare suggest I was going to.
I'm sorry. Forgive my rashness. Pretty sure we've gone through this, but for some reason I can't skip it. Yep. What was the most recent one then? Is there any we haven't? It fascinates me that you can't make the text move any faster, because like that's a thing that just about every game. Like I'm playing a game on GBA at the minute, well, the emulator, and I can skip text by pressing a button. Like this one's just rigid. I don't mean skip like make it go away. I mean make it fill the box instead of doing that scroll thing where it goes. Ms. Yu, I was wondering if you could tell me about the Yatsagarasu.
The Yatsagarasu, huh? I don't really know much about that character myself, but I do get a lot of consultation requests from companies to defend them.
Requests from companies?
The Yatsagarasu isn't some petty thief out for money, you know. Alright then. Perhaps the Yatsagarasu is in the business of stealing people's lives. You're not very funny. Or witty, are you, little Miss Fun Karma?
Franziska! Be careful about who you whip. Choose carefully, or we may be sued by— No!
There. I chose carefully, just like you wanted. That just now. Oh, that was hilarious, little Missy. Of course it was.
What is wrong with these two women? Why does my pain give them delight?
And so, in the end, what is the Yatsagarasu? I have to say I had never even heard of this thief while I was in Germany. The Yatsagarasu deals in information. Namely in digging up dirt about backroom dealings and the like of companies. The Yatsagarasu is a vigilante who steals such info and then makes it public for all to see. Vigilante or not, this person sounds just like another criminal to me. I suppose you could put it that way too. But either way, I get a lot more clients now, thanks to that thief.
Sounds like Ms. Yu is profiting nicely. I suppose I've gotten all I can out of Ms. Yu. I should move on and speak with Detective Gumshoe now. Well, there he is. Can we talk to the cop with him first? No. Detective Gumshoe. Hey, it's you, pal. You here? Ow!
As am I.
I don't think you needed to whip him to let him know that. I didn't do it, pal! I
I swear on my honor as a detective, I really didn't.
Your words are useless. I place my trust only in the evidence, Detective. Once the investigation is fully over, and should we find out that you are the killer, there will be no mercy to be had for you.
Have a heart, pal.
But you're not worried, right? After all, you have nothing to worry about if you really are innocent, that is.
That's right. Hey, pal, go and do your perfect investigation and get the real killer for me, will you?
I would have done so even had you not requested me to, Detective.
I'm not saying a peep, pal, because I'm not a killer, okay?
You misunderstand. I wasn't going to ask you about that.
All I've ever wanted to do was to become a detective, pal, so I'd never want to be a killer.
Seems that he doesn't want to talk about anything unrelated to the predicament. Not even my prosecutor's badge?
Not even my prosecutor's badge? Wow!
I guess he doesn't really want to show off his police badge at the minute on account of the suspicion cloud hanging above his head.
Right. Motive for meltdown?
So you and Mr. Faraday had a small meeting last week, did you? What exactly did you do to make him so angry?
I just asked Detective Bad the same thing myself, pal. Turns out he was mad at me because on my very first day as a detective, I reported in at my usual place instead of the Criminal Affairs Department. By the time I got down to Criminal Affairs, I was really, really late. And that's when he gave me that huge speech.
I remember doing the exact same thing in elementary school. On the first day of school every year, I'd always wind up going to my old classroom.
How pathetic for the detective to be compared to a mere school child. You claim to be standing guard in front of the door to the lobby number 2 during the recess. However, when did you receive the order to do so, and from whom?
Earlier, at around 3:20, and from Detective Bad, pal. Today's trial took a real crazy turn, so I was told to make sure nothing happened to Mr. Faraday.
And yet something did happen to him, correct? It looks like it was a total waste of manpower to assign you to guard duty.
Ow! Your words sting worse than the whip, pal.
So it was Detective Bad who ordered him to stand guard, huh? Now then, Detective Gumshoe, is there anything else you'd like to tell me?
Nope, not a thing, pal.
In that case, allow us to take a look at what you're carrying on your personage.
Ah! Wait! You can't do that!
There's nothing of any particular value here.
Well, my handcuffs and badge were confiscated by Detective Bad, so, you know.
That's why he didn't want to talk to our prosecutor's badge, because he doesn't have his police badge. And what is that open envelope I see sticking out of your coat pocket?
Ah! Hands off, pal!
Just show it to us already.
Annual bonus check within. $5 total. Except there is no check inside.
You've had your look, now give it back, pal. It's my first bonus as a brand new detective. I just got it and cashed it today. I had literally no cash on me up until I did, you know. So that envelope is really special to me, now give it back!
You don't need rubbish like this. Don't worry, we'll throw it away for you later.
How could you?
And we take the annual bonus envelope as evidence.
The
fucking cruelty!
I'm sorry, but I need to take him in for questioning now. I think I've asked him just about everything I needed to. No, wait. Since he became a suspect, there is one piece of evidence I should reconfirm. Officer, I ask that you wait a second. I still have one thing I'd like to reconfirm with Detective Gumshoe. Understood, but please make it brief, sir. I want to hear it from the horse's mouth. I must confirm whether or not his testimony about when the crime occurred is the truth. So we ask him about his testimony? You told me earlier that you heard no sound other than the gunshot out in the hallway. Is that correct?
No mistake about it, pal.
Then you are also claiming that no one passed through the hallway either. Is that also correct?
Yup, not even a single ant passed through that hall while I was on duty.
You do realize that the lie you're telling is only making life more difficult for yourself?
Huh? No. But it's true! I didn't see anyone go through the hallway, and I didn't hear anything else, pal. I bet the killer found a way to kill the two guys that's beyond what even I can imagine.
So he intends to continue telling this ridiculous lie. But why would he do so, given the situation that he is in? I believe a thorough investigation of the hallway in front of the defendant lobbies is in order.
Ah! Ew! Ah!
How could you have not noticed that coming?
Wasn't that the child I changed money for earlier?
Thanks! That's exactly what I needed.
Kids can sometimes be so cruel.
It looks like she dropped something.
A Swiss roll.
Maybe we should arrest her? She might turn out to be a valuable lead. Also, her father just died, but we don't know that yet.
Swiss roll dropped by the mysterious young girl. It says Courthouse Special on it. Courthouse Special Swiss rolls. Is this being sold somewhere on the premises?
I don't recall seeing a restaurant of any sort at this courthouse.
I somehow doubt you'd find junk food like this on a restaurant menu, Francisco.
Well then, where do they sell these things, huh?
A convenience store, I suppose.
Well, I'm sure there's no convenience store in this courthouse, Miles Edgeworth.
Where in the world did this come from? Wasn't there a vending machine? There was. We've also got the bonus check. No examination for that, though. I believe some sort of punishment may need to be dealt the next time we meet. I believe I've asked all that I need to of this man. Now for Detective Bad and the judge.
We have to confirm who's correct, the judge or that scruff face, right? I suppose we should inspect the hallway in front of lobby number 2 next, then.
I suppose so. Shall we head on over, Francisco? I like that we can go to the courtroom, though. We can walk around in it. Look at this. Feels almost sacrilegious.
It's a viewing gallery. This is where the riffraff sits when they come to watch. It's situated at the same height as the judge's bench.
I wonder if that's to represent the intense scrutiny of each and every case from all sides.
Miles Edgeworth, are you or are you not man enough to stand up to all those eyes?
What sort of... Of course I'm man enough!
It's the defense attorney's bench. I'd probably be standing on this side of the courtroom if that incident hadn't happened.
What are you thinking about? Lately, the more wrinkly your face becomes, the less I'm able to read what you're thinking.
Well, I'd never. I'll have you know that I don't have a single wrinkle upon my youthful brow.
I mean, he's younger than all of us, so...
Any day now, I'll be taking my rightful place behind this bench.
By that time, I should already be standing here.
It'd be downright disgraceful if I beat you to it, wouldn't it?
If that were to happen, Franziska, I'll eat my cravat. It's the witness stand.
I'll make sure that each and every person that ever stands here will be found guilty.
There are others besides the defendant that stand at this podium, you know.
I don't care. Just make sure you never end up standing at one of these. Or you'll be sorry.
I'll keep that in mind.
This must be the judge's desk. You can tell by the gavel sitting on top.
I had a dream once that I was being squashed from above by this gavel.
You're such a weakling, Miles Edgeworth.
I have no idea how frightening it was. Well, good news, it's not a 3D space, this is a 2D game. September 10, District Court hallway. The judge is also not supposed to have legs. It's very fucking creepy.
So, did you see anything else? No, I don't think so. I see. Well, thanks for your cooperation. Oh, it's nothing. Just doing my duty as a defender of the law. That'll be all for now. I'll ask again if I have any other questions. Any time, Detective. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a few loose ends I have to tie up. Oh, you're that new prosecutor Mr. Von Karma recommended, right?
My name is Miles Edgeworth, Your Honor.
And I'm Manfred von Karma's daughter, Franziska von Karma.
And I'm the vending machine maintenance guy.
I'm set to become the successor to my genius father any day now, Your Honor.
I see, Mr. New Prosecutor.
I don't know why the text went away, but... I want to read that. Hang on a minute.
I see, Mr. New Prosecutor recommended by Von Karma Miles Edgeworth and Ms. Jen... There! I bit my tongue.
Are you all right, Your Honor?
Please feel free to refer to me as just Ms. von Karma, Your Honor. As for him, just Edgeworth is fine.
Apparently somebody doesn't feel that I'm worthy of a proper title.
Very well, then. I shall call you Miss Von Karma and Mr. Prosecutor Edgeworth.
Your Honor, Mr. Edgeworth is fine, sir. Now, about your earlier testimony.
Yes, what about it, Mr. Edgeworth?
I would like to ask you a few questions about what exactly you saw.
All right. After all, it's my duty to clarify my testimony as a defender of the law.
I greatly appreciate your cooperation, Your Honor. Now, the first thing I will need to do is figure out that detective's exact movements. Begin! Investigation! Hallway. You wait right there. We'll do the talking after we do the examining.
It would appear that this vending machine sells snacks and various other foods.
A vending machine that sells courthouse special goods. A few sweet items are for sale. Oh, hey! Swiss rolls! Just lovely. What will they think of next?
Don't be a jerk in court like these beef jerks. 1 packet for $9. Defendant's fresh milk. 1/2 pint for $7. Stay neutral as the Swiss do until the end with these. For $6. It's awfully overpriced.
The lineup is simply awful. Period.
Speaking of snacks, I wonder if that Swiss roll the little girl dropped is from this machine.
I was wondering about that myself. When you're in hot water, you might need a hot dog. Looks like this slogan was decided through a public contest. And the winner was Prosecutor Winston Payne?
What a pathetic slogan, no presence at all. Now, if it was up to me, it would read, if you leave matters in the Von Karma's hands, everyone in court will be found guilty dogs.
Objection!
Overruled.
Don't be a jerk in court like these beef jerks. I see.
Objection!
Miles Edgeworth, wouldn't you agree that it's a very clever pun?
Do you really think they put that much effort into the product name?
Even a foolish fool could understand the foolish thinking of the fool who made it up. You're acting so foolishly that I got so thoroughly mad, and now I'm utterly famished.
If you wanted a pack of these, all you had to do was ask like a normal person. Defendant's fresh milk. What exactly is that supposed to mean?
I bet it means that the milk is freshly milked by various defendants on trial right now.
No, I think it might mean that it was milked right here from the various defendants.
Miles Edgeworth, you can't possibly be serious.
Of course not.
Stay neutral as the Swiss do until the end with these. The end of what?
Well, I assume it means the end of the trial. I suppose this means that one should eat these during a recess?
You can't eat during a trial. So I suppose the only time you can eat them is now, huh?
I wouldn't mind if you wanted to eat one now. They come in packs of 2, after all.
We're in the middle of an investigation. Besides, I don't have $6 on me.
If you want, we can pool our money and buy a pack together.
If I have to split it with you, then I don't want it.
Don't let the prosecution and the defense make a ham sandwich out of you?
It sounds like it's directed at that ham of a judge.
But it certainly isn't directed at me. I can outmaneuver him any day. When it's looking bad, blind your opposition with some OJ. Are they promoting marital murder?
Don't worry, my whip will make sure that anybody following this advice won't be for long.
Compared to the sting of a whip, the sting of orange juice may not be so bad. Drinks.
It doesn't look like there's anything contradictory left in this area.
I suppose not. Perhaps I should check somewhere else. Did you find something, officer? I think there's a $5 bill back there. Come on. Just a little more.
Is there no one working this crime scene who isn't a total waste of living tissue?
Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be a single person we can deem useful here. Have you found any suspicious fingerprints, officer? Nope. Just the fingerprints of those involved with the case, sir.
I guess we know all of the players in this case then, huh?
It would appear that way. But I have the nagging feeling that we're missing something. And I suspect that what we're missing is hiding right here in this crime scene somewhere.
He's making a most ridiculous looking face.
That may be, but at least he doesn't look like someone who would tell a lie on purpose.
I suppose. But to Von Karma, evidence is the only thing that carries any weight.
Of course. At any rate, this poster seems to be of no use to us right now. There are no signs that this fire extinguisher was used in the crime.
If you could already tell from a distance, then why are you wasting your time examining it?
Franziska, let's not try to rush absolute genius. Okay, this is a proper investigation point. With 2 levels at that. What is this? It's a pink-colored piece of trash made of rubber. I feel like I've seen something like this before.
Well, all I see is a piece of garbage. But you know, the fact that there's a litterer running loose inside this courthouse is simply unforgivable.
Ah! It's not like it was I who littered.
Rubbish belongs in a rubbish bin. What's the matter?
I pricked myself with one of this cactus's needles. I didn't think the needles on this thing would be so sharp.
Well, what did you expect? Can you imagine how bad it would be if you were hit on the head by one of these? Anyway, this cactus seems to be unrelated to our case.
Do you really think so? Because I believe that this cactus, sitting on this windowsill, is completely related.
Huh? Well then, I look forward to your explanation on how exactly it is related.
I can look outside. However, I doubt the killer could have escaped through here.
Of course not. This is the 3rd floor, after all.
It appears that bars were installed on this to prevent people from falling out.
Bars? What bars?
Can you not see them from your vantage point? Just remember not to bring up that taboo subject again. What, her height?
There's the bars.
But they're not fully on the window. Or if they are, they only go up halfway. But it seems to be like they're further out. What's this? The ants are hard at work carrying their food home. It's a marvel that they can pick up such comparatively large objects to their size.
Well, if you want to carry the mighty Von Karma name and not be squished under it, you'd better work extra hard, just like these ants.
The same goes for you, Franziska. The dirt on this bench, it smells like some sort of sweet substance.
I can't believe there's someone going around dirtying the courthouse. For shame!
Hold it!
Calm down, Franziska. Now, take a good look. Doesn't this smudge look kind of like a handprint to you?
I suppose it could be.
Which means that perhaps we can lift the prints of the person who sullied this bench.
I see. And then we'll know the identity of our mystery slob.
You there, the lab technician. Could you please find out who this handprint belongs to?
Sir, yes, sir. I've got the results of the fingerprint analysis, sir.
And do we know who they belong to?
Sir, the fingerprints belong to Detective Gumshoe.
Oh? Interesting. Good work, officer. Detective Gumshoe's fingerprints jotted down to my organizer.
And there you have it.
Yes, I suppose so.
Now we know the identity of the person who dirtied the bench.
I sense that you and I will be using this information in different ways.
What are these black speckles?
I believe it's a pile of ants eating away.
Oh, that detective. He claims that not a single ant slipped by him, and yet here is a whole hill of them.
Ah!
Why are you hitting me?
As a replacement for that pathetic detective.
Perhaps I should add this deduction to the detective's growing tab of pay cuts.
Anyway, I wonder what the ants are eating.
From the look and sweet smell of it, pieces of cake, chocolate from a Swiss roll.
Miles Edgeworth, the courthouse is to be kept pristine at all times.
It wasn't me that dropped food on the ground.
The courthouse must be kept clean.
Ants are pouring out of the hole in this bench as well. I wonder if the inside of this bench consists of nothing but ants.
Don't you dare continue for that gross line of thought.
I'm sorry. Okay, so we have Gumshoe's handprint, the remnants of a Swiss roll, ants falling down, coming in from outside, I think. And a piece of cloth, possibly cut on a cactus. Notice him?
This is a pretty spacious hallway, but it's nothing compared to the ones at home.
Indeed, because Mr. Von Karma's house is a bit too spacious.
However, even with this much space, there's nowhere for that scruff face to hide. Well, other than the crime scene just beyond those doors.
Francisca, I believe it's much too early to draw any conclusions. It's already proven that Detective Gumshoe was in the hallway the entire time. Now, all we need to do is gather more information. And to do that, I'll just have to examine everything I see here by myself.
We've gathered so much information, but they feel like just random fragments to me. I wonder what's really happened here.
Random fragments. No matter how unrelated they may seem at first, they might actually fit together somehow.
I grow tired of your inner monologue. Say something!
Ah! I'm going to end up in pieces thanks to that whip before I can piece the logic together. Nothing on the Swiss roll. Nothing on Gumshoe's fingerprint. Your Honor, I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind. Where were you at the time of the murder? Do you suspect me of something? No, nothing of the sort, Your Honor. Very well. You may continue with your testimony. Your Honor, it's your testimony I'm after. Oh! I had no idea you were chasing after me or my testimony. I'm beginning to sense that I might want to avoid being in a trial run by this judge. Holy shit, we get to present evidence to the judge! Today's trial may have ended abruptly, but we will meet again. I'm looking forward to that day, Mr. Edgeworth.
When I become a prosecutor, you might even see me in your courtroom a few times. I hope you'll treat me with even greater respect than now.
I only ask that you please do not bring a whip into my courtroom.
I'm afraid that issue is not up for negotiation.
As long as the whip can't reach his seat, I'm sure His Honor will be safe. I think. Thankfully, as long as I've known her, she's never thought to investigate in a longer one. Your Honor, I'd like for you to please take a look at this piece of evidence.
Very well. The court will accept this into evidence.
No, wait, that's not what I showed it to you for.
Mr. Edgeworth, if I may, I suggest you bone up on court procedure a bit more. When evidence is shown before me, it goes into evidence. That is the law of the court.
Your Honor, I'm sorry to say this, however. That rule does not apply to the outside world.
Huh? Come to think of it, I suppose court is not in session right now.
Being passionate about one's work is one thing, but to confuse it with real life? Quite a lot of duds here. We'll just keep doing this for a minute. Please enjoy the beep sounds. Here, I'll make it even faster. Oh! It's a courthouse special Swiss roll! It has such a nice, fluffy texture and just the right amount of sweetness to it. And it's made from all natural ingredients. So, of course, it's easy to digest as well. I see. Actually, they decided only recently to sell these rolls as the courthouse special. Of course, I've been sending in my special requests all along. Why don't you try sending in a request once in a while?
I suppose I'll just have to think of a good suggestion by the next time I come here.
Hey, Your Honor, look at this detective's bonus. Isn't it garbage? Let's see here. Now then, how should I put this? When you get to be my age, you need to pay more frequent visits to the restroom. If you go take a look through the window at the end of this hall, you'll see a small window. That is the window to the men's restroom. In other words, you can see clearly into this hallway from the men's restroom. When I was going into the restroom, that detective, Gumshoe, is it? Well, he was standing in front of the vending machines buying something from it. However, this I couldn't believe. When I was about to exit the restroom, there was not a soul in the hallway anymore.
Your Honor, if you could please calm down and explain it to me rationally.
Oh, I'm really sorry. Please let me regain my composure. It was really suspicious. That's what my finely honed judge's intuition said. Although, well, until the murders occurred, I just sort of brushed it off.
Apparently this judge doesn't understand the concept of staying calm.
The restroom window, huh?
I wonder if you can really see the men's bathroom window from that one there.
You can. I'm looking at it right now.
I demand that you show me this view at once.
I suspect that her height is what's limiting her ability to see. That's probably all I'm going to find out from His Honor.
Mr. Edgeworth, may I return to my other duties now?
Yes, I'm sorry to have held you up. Thank you for your cooperation, Your Honor.
Any time, Mr. Edgeworth, any time.
The judges in this country seem rather friendly.
Yes, if not a little wishy-washy. However, I hear that they are known to hand down very fair verdicts.
Yeah, so he sat down, exactly.
Not a soul in the hallway.
Under the window. Well, there goes the judge. Let's speak to the bad man. Da-da-da-da-da.
Detective Bad, I have something I wish to inquire about, now that I've finished jamming.
Hey, how about doing some actual work, you?
I wish to inquire into Detective Gumshoe's movements during the recess.
You're getting in the way of the investigation.
I have an order from Mr. Von Karma himself. Plus, I still hold investigative authority. Detective Bad, I'd like to ask you about this piece of evidence.
What a narcissist. He'd rather look at his face than the evidence.
Don't trust your eyes all the time, little girl. I can see the evidence. And keep an eye on the two of you with this mirror.
What? Then why didn't you answer?
Because I've got nothing to say. That's all.
Understood. Why couldn't he have just said that at the beginning? That would be because Franziska was bothering him. Let's go through all these duds.
Faraday.
It sounds like you lost someone close to you.
He was a battle buddy. We fought through a lot together. The boy with the silver spoon in his mouth couldn't understand society's dark underbelly.
Although honestly, I suppose he's right. I don't have anyone I relate to in that way. Well, it's not as though I long for someone like that. Nor am I good at getting close. The KG-8 incident. I heard that you were involved in this case as well.
Yeah.
That's all you have to say?
It was an unpleasant case that I don't wish to recall. I've got a lot of regrets I'll never forget related to that. Regrets I'll take to the grave.
Does he really have that many regrets? On the other hand, thinking back on what I know, I suppose he just might.
Does showing that off make you feel like a big, strong prosecutor?
Of course not. I was simply providing my title of prosecutor to you.
I see. But most prosecutors don't go around flaunting those things. It's like a detective walking around outside with his badge flashing in the sunlight. Show that off too much. Before you know it, you'll be elbow deep in angry criminals.
That would definitely be a problem. So I hear you were the one who called for Detective Gumshoe to come down here.
Faraday. That guy was just accused, you know? I just knew something was gonna happen. My detective's instinct told me.
A lot of good it did you. You couldn't even protect one lone prosecutor with it.
Hold it!
Franziska, I think you need to apologize.
I'm sorry.
I'm terribly sorry, Detective Bad. Please continue.
I used the phone on the first floor and called the precinct. I told them to send somebody over. And that detective's the one that showed up.
And only upon his arrival did you set Detective Gumshoe to stand guard, Detective Bad?
Yeah. I wanted for him on the first floor. Waited for him, rather. After he got here, we came up to these defendant lobbies together. As we entered this hallway, we ran into you.
Me?
No, not you. You.
Me?
No, not you. You.
You ran into my exact doppelganger.
Ah! Anyway, Callisto told us that Faraday was really mad, and that he dragged Rel off to lobby number 2 to have a word or something, and that Faraday had said to not let anyone interrupt them. So, what choice did I have? All I could do was tell the big lug to stand guard outside.
And around what time did all of that take place?
Let's see. I think it was about 30 minutes before I heard the gunshot. After giving the big lug his assignment, he never left the hallway, not once.
Oh? And how can you make such a claim?
One of the guards out in this floor's main lobby swore to me he didn't.
If the detective never left the hallway, then where did he disappear off to?
That's simple. He must have gone into lobby number 2, just as I suspected.
You and I. We were in lobby number 1 next door.
No, we weren't. I wasn't in lobby number 1. I've never entered lobby.
Oh, for the love of fuck, you know who I mean!
Fine.
The only one without an alibi is Gumshoe.
It would seem that I'm still missing some key pieces of information. Detective Bad, you also heard the gunshot, did you not?
Yeah. I heard it when I was in defendant lobby number 1. That's why I came running towards lobby number 2 together with you.
I wasn't with you. I only showed up later.
I'm going to grab you by the cravat and throw you out that window you spent so much time staring at a few minutes ago.
Moving on, how much time elapsed between your hearing the gunshot and your arrival on the scene?
Less than a minute.
What were your movements upon hearing the gunshot?
I grabbed the big lug, was just walking around in the hall, and raced into lobby number 2. And that's when we discovered the bodies. In that order.
That makes you the discoverer of the crime scene, right?
Yeah, I guess it does, little miss.
I am about to become a prosecutor very soon. You will treat me with the dignity I deserve, or else.
You wave that thing around anymore, and I'll have you arrested for obstruction, little miss.
You wouldn't dare.
Just joking.
Detective Bad is really something if he can make Franziska behave.
Are we about done?
Is there anything else I should ask him about?
I suppose the hole to poke at would be when, right? We know he heard the gunshot coming from the next room. We know what situation Gumshoe was in.
I'd like for you to tell me the exact time you heard the gunshot.
It was around the end of the recess, and the trial was about to start again, I think.
He was supposed to make time for himself to transfer the evidence he was holding. But I got the sense he wasn't going to show for the hands-off. So I figured I should go get him, or it'd be late. And just as I thought that, bang, the sound of a gunshot hit my eardrums.
So he heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to restart, huh?
Detective Bad's testimony. Are we done here, yes? Are we done here? I don't have any time to waste. Hold it! Oh, come on. All you're doing is standing in front of this door doing nothing.
I get the sense that he is somewhat investigating this crime scene. Or rather that he is keeping us under surveillance. But to what end? Detective Bad, may I ask that you cooperate with us for just a bit longer?
I don't have anything else to say to the two of you. You guys were the ones who said you wanted to investigate in the first place. Fine then, be obstinate. We'll just do as we please. Come on, Miles.
You may no longer be willing to help us. However, may I ask for the forensic scientist's cooperation?
Do as you like. It's just as I said. I have nothing further to add. But if there's one thing a detective honors, it's that. You must have confidence in and take responsibility for anything you say. That's what it means to be a detective.
In other words, you're just another stubborn horse, aren't you, Detective? Right, I think it's logic time, because we've talked to everybody, looked at everything. Oh, a hallway window.
So, according to the judge, someone looking through the restroom window that you can see from the window at the end of this hall can see into this hall. I wonder exactly how true that statement is, don't you?
Well, it is possible to get a pretty clear view of the hallway from that restroom.
Is there really a men's bathroom window through the window at the end of this hall?
Of course, can you not see it?
Ah! I demand that you show me this view at once.
I suppose I should go examine that window once again anyway. Right then. I already checked this area earlier, but it never hurts to take another look. So that window on the other side belongs to the men's restroom.
I can't see it.
At your height, I'm not surprised. I guess short people have feelings too. Now, on one hand, he is a youngster here. On the other, not very tactful. Anyone under 6 feet do not have human rights. I think that's all they wanted us to look at. Alright, logic time now, I think. Unless there's more to say from her. No. So we have the window.
in the defendant lobby. That one's fully barred. With the vending machine, we have the Swiss roll crumbs found on the floor under the bench, attracting ants. We have the windowsill cactus. We have the pink piece of trash. I think the windowsill cactus sliced into whatever larger piece of pink thing. This pink rubbery substance, I saw this in a different form earlier today. I believe this is a piece of a popped balloon.
I suppose that's possible.
The balloon probably got a little too close to our friend, the windowsill cactus.
That would be the logical conclusion, yes.
And we have the vending machine and the Swiss roll crumbs. These bits of chocolate and cake, could they not have come from a Swiss roll?
A Swiss roll? Why would a courthouse sell a thing like that?
It may not seem like the right venue. However, it is being sold right over there.
The vending machine. Ah, I see. Stay neutral as the Swiss stones since it ends with these. 2 for $6. Talk about expensive.
Leaving the fact that it's on the expensive side aside, the fact that the cake crumbs and chocolate bits were found in this hallway suggests that they came from a Swiss roll that was purchased from this machine. So, the picture we're getting here is that little Kay Faraday showed up. And Gumshoe bought Swiss rolls for the two of them. And they sat there and ate them. The judge saw him at the vending machine and then saw him disappeared, i.e. sat in that bench. Kay was with him because she had a Swiss roll and also I think she had the balloon. She sat to his right and the balloon popped on the cactus. But if he only had $5, does that mean Kay had to pay the other bucks? I think I have a pretty clear picture of what happened here now.
Naturally. After all, I'm here, aren't I?
Detective Gumshoe must have sat on this bench as he ate a Swiss roll. And as he ate, he dropped it on the floor and sullied the bench.
How could he not have cleaned up after himself? How utterly despicable!
Don't you dare whip me again! It wasn't I who made the mess in the first place! Anyway, if it was indeed Detective Gumshoe who bought the Swiss roll, that creates a rather interesting contradiction of facts.
A contradiction, there.
I think another look at the special courthouse vending machine is in order. As long as the special courthouse vending machine isn't out of order. Look at them Swiss rolls. Okay, so nothing new. We've already looked at all of these while Demon Dragon was away and got the funniest Miles and Franziska lines out of the whole case out of it. But I guess the bonus envelope suggests that he bought them? Or that he bought them somewhat? Eureka! About Detective Gumshoe's finances, he said that until this morning, he didn't have even a single penny on his personage.
Just how poor is that guy?
If his bonus really was only $5, then he should not have been able to purchase a pack of Swiss rolls. However, facts being as they are, we found cake crumbs on the floor.
Meaning Scruffy must have bought a pack somehow.
Indeed. That detective should not have been able to purchase a pack, and yet he did. The question is, how? We've solved the mystery of Gumshoe's snack, and that does the investigation for us, I fucking guess. Sure, let's pretend.
Well, I do too.
All right, Franziska, would you care to share what conclusions you've come to?
Why should I do that? We're still in the middle of a competition, you know. We should be checking to see if your conclusions are wrong first, so you go ahead.
It's almost cute that she's going this far to ensure that she wins. Almost. Very well. But first, we need to pay His Honor a visit to correct his testimony. September 10, 5:15 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 3. Oh shit, don't fight the judge in court. This is where he draws his power. Your Honor, if I may, I'd like to test your witness testimony to see how it stands up. Do you doubt me? Am I your new suspect? In a sense, I suppose you could say that.
Even you, a judge, is nothing but a common witness before Von Karma.
Silence in the courtroom! Silence, I said! Mr. New Prosecutor recommended by Von Karma...
Fucking hell.
Mr. New Prosecutor recommended by Manfred Von Karma, Miles Edgeworth, and Mischievous Prosecutor, successor to Manfred Von Karma, Franziska...
You bit your tongue again, didn't you?
As a defender of the law, I could never give false testimony. You can even place me under oath if you want.
Very well then, your testimony, if you please. What I saw at recess.
During the recess, I went to the restroom. There is a window on the hallway side. In other words, I could see into the hallway. As I entered, I saw that detective buying something from the vending machines. When I was about to exit the restroom, he had completely disappeared. A detective that goes missing while on duty? That sounds mighty suspicious to me!
God damn it. Controller, please work. Actually, let me see if it, Can I do the Bluetooth thing on here? Nope, not on this emulator. Completely does not recognize it. My GBA one does, whether it's plugged in or unplugged. But I keep having to plug it back in because when it's unplugged and on Bluetooth, it's constantly disconnects and reconnects and gives me this flashing red message that eats up the fucking text, so I can't read what I'm trying to play. So I end up just plugging it back in so it's more stable. Which is funny because Bluetooth was meant to prevent it from disconnecting, but oh well. This one, when it unplugs, it stops recognizing that it exists, so we'll have to put it back in. Oh, fuck.
Oh! I'm so used to simply listening to testimonies that I got caught up in the excitement.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to spoil your fun now. What I saw at recess. It's awkward that this takes place in a flashback, because this is like before all of the judge's moments. Oh, of course it fucking did. I hate that. It'd be fine if it didn't default my settings. Okay.
During the recess, I went to the restroom.
Hold it!
Your Honor, why exactly did you pay a visit to the restroom, if I may ask?
Oh, well, isn't it obvious? What else do you go to the restroom for? Or maybe I knew it. You suspect me of some sort of tomfoolery, don't you?
Please stay calm, Your Honor. This is going to be much harder than I anticipated.
I'm sorry. You're right. I need to think things through with level head. I'm just nervous because so much has happened today with this trial. Let's see, I announced a recess and a time for us to reconvene. But having done all that, I still wasn't able to go to the restroom right away.
Why couldn't you?
Mr. Faraday had been accused, so I had paperwork to process regarding a new prosecutor. Once I had finished that, I was finally able to make a mad dash to the restroom.
At least he stayed consistent on the going to the restroom part of his testimony.
There is a window on the hallway side. In other words, I could see into the hallway.
Hold it!
Your Honor, did you really go to the men's restroom?
What is the meaning of that statement?
I simply meant that perhaps you went to a restroom on a different floor.
I had to go for such a long time. It was all I could do to dash to the closest one to the courtroom.
I suppose that's only natural, given his circumstances.
I ran from the courtroom through this floor's main lobby and down the hallway. Once you enter, you can see there's a window just above the urinals. It was through that window that you
witnessed Detective Gumshoe, Your Honor.
Yes, exactly!
Your Honor, there is no need to yell. I can hear you just fine.
Oh, I guess I put a little too much into that last answer. Now then, let's continue with the testimony. As I entered, I saw that detective buying something from the vending machines.
Hold it!
Are you sure that the person you witnessed was Detective Gumshoe, Your Honor?
Yes, I'm absolutely sure. It's hard to miss someone of his stature, even from as far away as the restroom. Besides, I can't think of anyone else with that kind of hairstyle and big beige coat.
Well, I was simply wondering if you were mistaken in what you saw.
What? Preposterous! My eyes are as sharp as can be, ready to see through lies to the truth. Although recently things do seem to be a bit fuzzier than they used to be.
Clearly his eyes are not the only things that have gone fuzzy.
But allow me to say with all the honor and dignity of a judge, I am not mistaken in what I saw. But when I was about to exit the restroom, he had completely disappeared.
Hold it!
He disappeared. But, Your Honor, didn't you just say, I saw that detective buying something from the vending machines?
Why, yes, I did. The restroom window looks over the courtyard, right into the hallway. But, just as I was about to exit, I took another look and there was no one in sight. That led me to the only solution to this mystery. That detective must have gone into the crime scene, lobby number 2, at that point!
So he looked into the hallway from the restroom and over the courtyard, did he?
A detective that goes missing while on duty? That sounds mighty suspicious to me!
Hold it!
Your Honor, I ask that you please remain calm.
No, I'm perfectly calm!
You're being anything but perfectly calm.
It appears that His Honor could not have been mistaken in what he saw.
I suppose so, given his line of sight. However, Franziska, why do you suppose our lines of sight are so different?
If you're referring to my height,
Can't you hold that still for just a second? Now, about His Honor's testimony. I believe his line of sight to be an important factor.
if it's that important, why didn't you hurry up and tell him already?
I will, but there is one more thing I need to do if I'm to correct His Honor's testimony. I'm going to need to retrace Detective Gumshoe's movements.
He had completely disappeared. What do we put here? I guess the fingerprints is the closest. We also got the Swiss roll and the bonus envelope and the balloon. Go with the fingerprints, because that places Gumshoe on the bench, which would allow him to be unseen.
Objection!
What was that finger wag for, Mr. Edgeworth? Don't you know it's rude to shout objection while someone is giving testimony?
If you truly are a man of the law, then you must always be vigilant. For example, I myself never let an opportunity to shout objection pass me by.
Miles Edgeworth, it's one thing to be passionate about your job, but this is real life.
This is what some people may say is the pot calling the kettle black. Your Honor, I wonder if you might take a look at this for me.
What is that filth? How dare someone dirty the hallway bench like that? Who is the culprit? That party is hereby found guilty of uncleanliness.
Jesus Christ. If you must know, the uncouth bench sullier has already been placed under arrest, thanks to your earlier testimony, Your Honor.
Oh? Well, that's good, but who was it?
We were able to discover something from the smudge on the bench, namely Detective Gumshoe's fingerprints.
Not happy with committing just murder, he had to go and dirty the courthouse too? Guilty!
Your Honor, please calm down. While it's true that the detective is the one who made the mess on the bench, we have not yet established that this action is related to the double murder.
What do you mean?
I believe that the detective bought a pack of Swiss rolls from the vending machine, and then promptly sat down on the bench to eat one. The cake crumbs and pieces of chocolate on the floor under the bench, and Detective Gumshoe's fingerprints prove my conclusions to be true.
Oh, but I still don't understand. Is this whole thing related to how I couldn't see him as I was leaving the restroom?
It is indeed. The window in the hallway was built rather high up into the wall, at around a grown adult's chest height. As evidence, I submit that Franziska herself was unable to see out of that window. I shouldn't have used her height as evidence. But basically what this means is that the area directly under the hallway window is a blind spot when the hallway is being viewed from the men's restroom.
Then...
It seems that you have made the connection. If someone were to sit on the bench under the window... Yes, even someone as large as Detective Gumshoe would effectively disappear from sight.
What?
Do you finally see, Your Honor? Your testimony has just proven that Detective Gumshoe was in the hallway the entire time.
Hold it!
Sorry.
I didn't mean to say it with that much enthusiasm. All I wanted to do was try saying it once. Here, let me try that again. Hold it!
Is there something of value that you'd like to say?
Yes, actually, there is. I remembered something else just now. Mr. Edgeworth, please allow me to testify to the court one more time.
Even if we overruled him, he'd just keep on talking, wouldn't he?
That might not be a bad thing. The more info, the better in a perfect investigation, right?
I suppose.
For what I saw. I suppose it's possible you can't see a seated person from the restroom window. However, that doesn't mean that the detective was sitting there when I looked. Anyway, I forgot to testify earlier about probably the most important detail. As I was leaving the restroom, I heard the loud bang of a gunshot. Yeah! How was that? That is the testimony of one who judges the crimes of others. Your Honor, could you try to state the important facts first next time?
I agree. Before you go around judging others, you should learn to judge your own words.
I'm sorry. But honestly, I thought that sound was just a noise popper until just now. There was a murder! Now that he mentions it, right before we restarted the trial, he did talk about that. Oh, by the way, was there someone celebrating a birthday during the recess? I could have sworn that I heard a popper going off. Come to think of it, the other day with my grandson. The most critical point in this argument is when did the judge look into the hallway, and whether that lines up with when the gun was actually fired. Your Honor, if I may, I'd like to clarify a few details in your testimony. I suppose it's possible you can't see a seated person from the restroom window.
Hold it!
In that case, do you concede that you were overconfident in your last testimony? Now, hold on there. I just said that it's possible you can't see a seated person from the restroom this time. But you know something? I don't think you know when the prints you referenced were left on that bench, do you? While you have proven that it's possible the detective was sitting, I still have a problem with just when those fingerprints were left. He's right. I have yet to prove when the fingerprints were left on that bench. While he feigns ignorance, His Honor has seen a lot of life. This judge, I mustn't underestimate him. However, that doesn't mean that the detective was sitting there when I looked. As we established, you went to the restroom during the recess. However, at what point in the recess did you look into that hallway? After I called for a recess, I handled the change of prosecutor paperwork. Maybe about 20 minutes until we reconvened. Yes, that sounds about right. Just as I expected. What were you expecting? And I demand to know what that all-knowing smile is for. Your Honor, that statement you made just now is very important. I'd like for you to append it to your testimony. All right, if you insist. Let's see, I looked into the hallway about 20 minutes before we were to reconvene. Do we have autopsy and shit? No, because it just happened, but, happened at about 4 p.m. I don't have, like, the paperwork of how the time all shakes out as to whether that's correct or not. You have Gumshoe's testimony, which is not time-related. Is Bad's testimony time-related? Right before the trial was about to start again. I looked into the hallway 20 minutes before the trial was to start again. Okay, so this gets presented here, but after we finish pressing.
Hold it!
20 minutes before we reconvened. Very well. What did you do after that?
Let's see, I had to make some preparations, so I rushed straight back to the courtroom. I also had to track down a few pieces of paperwork for the various bailiffs.
So you rushed back to the courtroom despite having just heard a gunshot?
Well, at the time, I thought it was just the sound of a noise popper. I really couldn't think of any other explanation than someone having a birthday party. But now that this has happened...
I see. Thinking back, the judge did mention something to that effect when we reconvened.
Anyway, I forgot to testify earlier about probably the most important detail.
Hold it!
If it's something that forgettable, I don't need to hear it.
But all I did was forget to mention it.
That sort of excuse may work on other people, but not on a Von Karma.
Oh. But it's such an important piece of testimony. Please, give me a chance to present it.
I suppose I have no choice in the matter.
As I was leaving the restroom, I heard the loud bang of a gunshot.
Hold it!
Your Honor, about what you just said.
I know, I couldn't believe it myself, but I heard it bang with the gunshot. I heard it loud and clear, and then I had a knee-jerk reaction. Jumped like this, just like this, with a quick
Your Honor, please allow the streamer to advance your text box at will, rather than automatically jumping ahead so that he misses the words. Also, please remain calm when you're trying to explain yourself to me.
Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, what he heard was the balloon popping.
Now then, I must gather myself, yes. When I heard the gunshot, there was no one in the hall. I should know. I looked. There was no one there!
The judge's emotion circuits appear to be stuck on overreact. I believe that we finally found the flaw in His Honor's testimony.
Yet sadly, he's completely oblivious to it. But I guess I can't really expect him to be aware of it. Well, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and fill him in. At least that thing finally came in handy.
Indeed. Now let's see what happens when I present it to His Honor.
I suppose it's possible you can't see a seated person from the restroom window. I looked into the hallway about 20 minutes before we were to reconvene.
Yep. Doesn't add up. Badong.
Objection!
I cannot allow you to make an objection.
What? Your Honor, I'm really sorry, but I cannot allow you to not allow me to make an objection.
Egads! I've been overruled.
Your Honor, there are simply too many holes in your testimony for my taste.
What do you mean by that?
You claim that you heard the gunshot during the recess, but that is simply not possible.
Mr. New Prosecutor recommended by Manfred von... for fuck's sake.
Instead of biting your tongue, why don't you... Hey!
Now what the fuck is she doing it for? Wait, hang on. Instead of biting your tongue.
Instead of biting your tongue, why don't you bite your tongue as those preposterous names?
I'll just gotta cheat and fucking consult the transcript now. I see you have no mercy for the elderly either, Francisco.
Don't talk back to me, unless you want to be whipped in the back.
With your height, you'd need a stepladder or 4 to accomplish that.
Mr. Edgeworth, my ears are not that far gone yet, I'll have you know. I can still hear just fine. and I heard the sound of a gunshot loud and clear with my own 2 eyes. Ears.
Your Honor, I have here an interesting bit of testimony. It's from Detective Bad, and according to him, he heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to start again.
What did you just say?
Your Honor, you just said that you heard the gunshot about 20 minutes before we were due to reconvene. How do you explain this glaring contradiction?
That can't be!
Unfortunately, that is the truth.
But I heard it clear as day. Bang! The loud sound of a gunshot.
The sound of a gunshot. We keep returning to this point of contention. And that piece of evidence. I always did wonder why I found it where I did. However, now I understand what that gunshot the judge heard really was. Unfortunately, Your Honor, this is what really produced the gunshot you heard. Balloon, I found this object in the hallway earlier.
What is that pink substance?
It may not look it, but this is actually a piece of a balloon.
I see. And I suppose you would like me to accept that pink balloon into the court record?
Your Honor, I present this piece of evidence in order to overrule your testimony.
What?
Your Honor, your argument goes as follows. You saw no one in the hallway when you heard the gunshot. There is no guarantee that the detective was sitting on the bench at that time. Therefore, you believe he must have been at the crime scene, defendant lobby number 2. Am I correct?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Let me ask you something. Do you think that the gunshot you heard was produced by a real gun? I think I've said enough that even you can figure the rest out on your own. Your Honor, you were fooled by the popping of this balloon into thinking it was a gunshot.
What manner of trickery is this?
That was a good effort you put forth, Miles Edgeworth. But if it was me, I'd have wrapped this thing up before the judge even testified.
Care to elaborate on how one ends something before it even begins?
Well, to be honest, I did think that the sound was a bit off from a real gunshot sound. But who could have guessed that someone would pop a balloon in a place like this?
That's true. One doesn't usually think balloons in conjunction with courthouse.
I want to trade these coins with you.
It's it. That balloon that girl was holding, it explains everything. Your Honor, if it makes you feel any better, you didn't lie once in your testimony. However, I can't really vouch for its accuracy.
Who knew that giving testimony could be such a difficult thing to do? What have I done? I owe Detective Gumshoe a very, very big apology. I will see to it myself that he is released.
Wait. There are still a few things that I have yet to resolve about what happened in the hallway. Your Honor, I request your permission to further question Detective Gumshoe.
But why? I thought we just cleared his name.
Whether we did just now or not, I still cannot say. The only thing I can do for now is to continue my quest for the perfect explanation. And to that end, I must resolve the remaining issues pertaining to the events that occurred in the hallway.
Very well. Bailiff, please bring Detective Gumshoe into the courtroom.
I must fulfill my mission and find the perfect explanation to this case. September 10, District Court number 3.
What is it now? Is it time for my trial already? I've already told you a gazillion times, pal, I didn't do it.
I'll be the judge of that, Detective Gumshoe.
No, you won't. I'll be the judge of that.
No. I'm the judge around here, and I'll be the judge of this, that, and the rest of it. Why can't you guys be a little less judgmental? Yes, well, speaking of hasty judgments, Detective Gumshoe, I'm afraid I must apologize for an error in judgment on my part.
Your Honor, I don't believe you should apologize just yet. We have yet to prove he is completely innocent of this crime.
I guess so. What are you guys talking about?
In any case, I would like you to testify as to your actions while you were on guard duty. And please remember, you are not on trial. This is all just a part of the investigation. As such, you may still be found to be innocent. However, if you should give false testimony...
Yow!
My VIP will object loud and clear.
If you are found to be lying, you will be held indefinitely. Understood?
I got you, pal.
Thinking back on the state of the crime scene and the judge's testimony, it's obvious that Detective Gumshoe is lying. And if I can't break his lie, then we may never get a break in this case.
While I was on duty, I came down here to this courthouse on Detective Bad's orders. As soon as I got here, he ordered me to stand guard in front of lobby number 2. From that time on, until I heard the gunshot, I was in that hallway the whole time. On my honor as a detective, I swear it wasn't me, pal.
He's still singing the same tired tune.
In that case, I'll just have to change the melody. I know he's lying, and it's time I pulled the information I need out of him.
I came down here to this courthouse on Detective Bad's orders.
Hold it!
So was it really Detective Bad who called you down here?
You bet it was, pal. I was left in charge of the precinct while everyone was out, and this call comes in. I want you down here in 1 minute flat, he said. Well, I thought this was my big chance, my first case, so I made a mad dash down here. Although I couldn't exactly get here in a minute flat.
So how long did it take you?
About 10 minutes, I guess.
And what was Detective Bad doing when you finally made it?
He was waiting for me down on the first floor in the entranceway, pal. As soon as I got here, he ordered me to stand guard in front of lobby number 2.
Hold it!
And by he, you mean...
Detective Bad, of course. And this being my first time at the courthouse, he also walked with me up to the 3rd floor hallway in front of the defendant lobbies.
And did you meet anyone along the way?
Well... Just as we entered the hallway, we ran into you.
Me? I hadn't arrived yet.
You're such a kid, Mr. Edgeworth. When he heard from Miss Yu that Mr. Faraday was not to be interrupted, that's when Detective Bad told me to stand guard in the hallway, pal.
So far, Detective Gumshoe's testimony is matching up with Detective Bad's.
From that time on, until I heard the gunshot, I was in that hallway the whole time.
Yeah, there's a murder in the courthouse. This is a 7-year-old flashback. So we've actually got 13-year-old Franziska with us as well. And Gumshoe's wearing a different coat. Nice to see you there, Robert.
Hold it!
You claim to have been in that hallway the whole time. However, is it not a fact that you did something while you were in that hallway?
Of course I did something. I guarded the door to lobby number 2, pal. What else?
Very well, then. And what exactly does guarding that door entail?
Well, to put it simply... Oh, I know. It was my job to stand in front of the door without moving an inch.
Oh? Detective Gumshoe, you mean to tell me that you didn't take a single step away from the door to lobby number 2? Is that really what you wish to testify to the effect of?
You got it, pal. I didn't take a single step away from that door, just like I was ordered not to. Why is everyone so quiet all of a sudden?
Because we are all in shock and in awe of your utter stupidity.
Scruffy, if you're going to lie, at least tell us a more believable one.
Ow!
But I'm not lying. I should hurry up and bring this insipid testimony to a close.
Until I heard the gunshot, I didn't take a single step away from the lobby number 2 door.
I'm only going to ask you one more time, Detective Gumshoe. Are you sure you stood in front of the door to the lobby number 2 the entire time?
Yup. After I was told to by Detective Bad, I stood guard in front of that door without a single break. So believe me when I say that I was in that hallway the whole time already, pal. Why did everyone go quiet all of a sudden again?
Apparently someone has a bit of trouble reading between the lines.
What's that supposed to mean? I don't...
Be quiet!
I should hurry up and bring this insipid testimony to a close. Ow, I thought it was over.
Oh, damn it. There.
Hold it!
Would you also be willing to swear that there was no one else in that hall besides you?
What are you talking about? I just swore to you that I was doing my job, pal.
No? Then what are you acting so nervous for?
What? I'm not nervous at all, pal. Anyway, not a single person other than myself was in that hall the whole time. Piggy swear.
I should just let it go. Pursuing this train of thought at this time would just be a waste of time.
To have such a foolishly foolish contradiction in such a foolishly foolish testimony is just plain old foolish.
Indeed. However, in the pursuit of the perfect investigation, I'm afraid we have to deal with it. By squashing it under the weight of evidence. I didn't take a single step away from the lobby number 2 door, which is, how you managed to get your fingerprint onto the bench by, I guess, leaning over real hard.
Objection!
I have an objection.
What is it, pal?
Detective Gumshoe, I wonder if you might recognize this from somewhere.
Hey, it's one of those things. The courthouse special Swiss rolls, right, pal?
Precisely. In that case, I suppose that you also recall the sullied hallway bench?
Hey, you know what? I think it was probably me that did that. Detective Gumshoe, you know you can't go around dirtying up the courthouse like this.
You inconsiderate, slovenly pig!
I promise to clean it up later, I swear.
Now then, shall we get down to business? To defeat the charge? About the fact that you didn't move even a single step from in front of that door? If that really were the case, then how were you able to buy a pack of Swiss rolls?
Furthermore, if you didn't move a single step from in front of that door, how did you manage to get the bench dirty with your grubby hands?
Ow!
It appears that Franziska's whip can do more damage than my words alone can.
All right. I confess, pal. I was hungry, so I bought a pack for myself, okay? I thought I'd get chewed out again if anyone found out about me chewing out on the job. So I didn't want to say anything. Well, unfortunately for you, I saw you do the whole dastardly deed. I clearly saw you buying a pack of Swiss rolls from the vending machine. Okay, I'm sorry for lying. That's all I'm sorry for, you got that? Because I'm not holding anything else back.
That last statement. It may sound like it makes sense. However, there is something I don't quite believe about it. Are you sure you're not withholding further information from us?
Huh? Of course not. I got nothing else to hide, pal.
Oh, if only that were true, Detective Gumshoe.
But it is true, pal. I swear there's nothing else.
Detective Gumshoe, I'm sure you are aware of the price of a pack of Swiss rolls, correct?
Huh? Remind me again, pal.
That vending machine out in the hallway is selling packs of 2 Swiss rolls for $6 a pack.
And yet, according to you, you didn't have any cash on you until you cashed your $5 annual bonus check. Isn't that right? Let me ask then, how did you manage to purchase a pack all by yourself? Can you provide me with a proper explanation to that?
I told you I bought it by myself, pal. There wasn't anyone else in that hallway with me, so there's no one who could have helped me buy it. Wait, don't tell me. You got some kind of proof that there was someone else in the hallway, don't you?
Correct.
As if you could. I mean, what are the chances of that? Wait, you do?
Of course I do.
What? How?
What proof do I have that there must have been someone else there in the hallway? The balloon?
Take that!
What the heck is that? Ha! I knew you didn't really have anything. You prosecutors are all the same, always lying to people. You should stop, you know.
Ah! I refuse to be lectured by the likes of you, detective.
Miles, how long do you plan on being strung along by this moronic detective?
I have no intention of falling for his lie, because there was definitely a second person. Because if he was truly alone all along, then that piece of evidence should not exist. Well, it wasn't a balloon, what is it? It's not the bonus again.
Right. It's this because she dropped it.
Take that!
Hey, you showed that to me not 2 seconds ago, pal.
Ah, I think you're under the mistaken impression that I bought this pack of rolls.
Wait, if you didn't buy it, then that means you must have stolen it, you thief!
Well, I would never do such a thing.
All you liars are the same. You start out as thieves. You're under arrest, pal.
I believe you meant to assert that all thieves start out as liars. And in that case, what does that say about you, detective? This particular Swiss roll was dropped by a certain someone.
Oh.
There were 2 rolls in this package. You ate one of them. But you then gave the other one to a certain other person, didn't you?
No way, pal. You got it all wrong. I ate both of them.
It would appear that we've caught you at last.
Hey, don't you dare do anything bad to that little girl!
It would appear that they do know each other after all. So, why do you continue to come up to me and kick me? Have I wronged you somehow?
I have a name, and it's Kay.
Okay, what?
Kay Faraday.
Faraday. Are you perhaps Mr. Faraday's daughter?
I'm not a you. That's the other lady. I'm Kay.
Hey. You know, good little girls don't kick other people. Especially not hard enough to leave big nasty bruises like the way you do.
Well, then you shouldn't have put Gummy under arrest, mister.
Gummy?
My guess is that she's talking about Detective Gumshoe.
What a cute nickname you've given him.
Gummy didn't do anything wrong.
Okay.
It appears that I will need to speak with her in a bit more detail.
Arr!
Yes, what is it? That girl, she seems to know that scruffy detective. Maybe she knows something about him that we don't.
Agreed. However, she seems to be rather uncooperative at the moment.
She's like a stray alley cat. I wonder what would happen if we fed her.
Perhaps I will try feeding her. Give her the Swiss roll, I guess. No evidence for you. It appears that we've caught you red-handed, eating a Swiss roll.
Look, I'm sorry about lying to you, pal.
And? Do you have nothing else to say?
Sure I do. It was so fluffy and sweet and big. Oh, it was perfection, pal. And totally worth every penny of my bonus.
I see. Well, good for you, detective.
I can't believe it, but it's almost funny when a fool is this unbelievably foolish.
Oh dear.
What is the matter, Your Honor?
I claim to hand down fair verdicts, but I unfairly cast suspicion on the big fella. If this had been a trial just now, I would have destroyed his life. I am the guilty one.
We all make mistakes, Your Honor. To err is human, to forgive divine, as they say.
Although, if you were to make a mistake during the trial, then it would be quite unforgivable. Any day now, I'll be taking my rightful place behind this bench.
Interesting, it won't let me skip even though it's the same lines. I also can't leave right now. Now then, Kay.
She's like a stray cat.
I wonder if I should feed her something. Here, eat a prosecutor's bag. No, eat a gun. What actually happens if you try to feed her a weapon? I'm gonna save state and try some stupid ones here.
Take that!
She swatted it back at me.
Rawr! Miles, I demand that you do something to calm her down this instant.
Alright.
Take that!
Nope, didn't like the gun either. Alright, fine, we'll give her a Swiss roll. Alright, sure. Okay, Guan. Okay, Demon Dragon.
Take that!
Same default reaction. Oh, this is the most damage I've ever taken in Ace Attorney.
Take that!
Okay, I promise to give this to you if you calm down.
Oh, a Swiss roll.
If it really belongs to you, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was saving it for Daddy.
Oh my. Your father. He's...
Don't you say another word, pal. She doesn't know yet.
Thanks for watching out for me, Gummy. But I already know about Daddy. I overheard the guards talking about how he's not here anymore.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I couldn't protect him. Okay.
I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry.
It's alright. Let it all out. Your father just passed away, after all. I myself was also involved in a case at this courthouse when I was a young child. A case in which my father, who was a defense attorney, passed away. All of my dreams of becoming a lawyer were crushed into fine ash on that nightmarish day. Even now, the wound festers deep in the depths of my soul. Ever since that incident, I've dedicated myself to locking away every criminal I can. And now, to have this happen right in front of me. This child. I feel a certain shared fate, a common bond between us. You say that, but then 7 years from now, you're gonna forget who she ever even was. Like, remember, the reason why we're having this flashback is because Miles forgot who Kay Faraday was.
Miles Edgeworth, what sort of gentleman are you? Are you going to just stand there and watch a lady cry?
Oh, you're right. Sorry about that. Kay. Here. How about we use this handkerchief here and dry your little eyes?
Well, he's gonna need a new one of those. Ah! My
my cravat! Don't blow your nose on that!
I feel better now. Thank you.
Also, Kay's profile has updated. Detective, get your elbow out of my face. Kay, are you going to be all right?
Yep, I'm already all right.
Somehow I highly doubt that, but I'm not going to push it.
I promised Daddy I'd never cry in front of strangers.
Hey, you're a good kid, aren't you, Kay? You always keep your promises, right?
That's right. Even if I can't see Daddy anymore, I'm still gonna keep all my promises.
You're a very brave girl, Kay.
You're a very good child for keeping the promises you made to your papa. I even testify that you didn't cry, just for you.
Thank you very much, lady.
It's nothing. I'm only telling the truth after all.
She's 3 years older than her. It would appear that because her father was a respected prosecutor, Franziska is sympathetic to Kay's feelings. Rare for Franziska to be sympathetic to anything at all. Ever.
Oh, Daddy showed this to me before.
Well, he was a prosecutor too, so it's only natural that he had one as well.
Daddy would pin this badge on me a lot, just for fun.
Pinning a prosecutor's badge on a child for fun?
Daddy said that if he put it on his clothes, a scary prosecutor would get mad. He also said that the scary prosecutor said it was more fashionable to not wear it.
I wonder who that scary prosecutor could be.
I wonder, could Kay be talking about Mr. Von Con- Duh! Kay, about this.
Huh? Are you giving it to me? But I promised Daddy that I wouldn't take things from strangers. I'm sorry.
It's alright, I wasn't intending to give it to you anyway.
Oh, okay. Guess I thought wrong.
Miles, even if you show that to her, she isn't going to magically know all about it.
I suppose you're right.
You really need to stop picking on Gummy, okay?
Ha Kay, atta girl! You're a great kid, you know that?
What is with their chummy relationship?
What the heck are you doing reminding her of her father's death, pal?
I didn't think of that.
She may look all happy, but she's really hurting deep down inside, you know? So have a heart and be more sensitive, okay, pal?
I'm sorry. For once, this detective is actually the voice of reason. Now they acknowledge it. And pretty much everything crime scene related. That said, she doesn't react to her own dad's fountain pen. We shouldn't give her the bag full of dad's blood. No reaction from Gumshoe as we try to give her his bonus.
I came here with Daddy for his work, and I wanted to eat with him. Daddy...
She looks so sad and lost. I can't bring myself to make her recall any more about today's events. Nothing on the fingerprint. If she's going to be a great thief, she shouldn't accept things from strangers, but just take things from them. Nothing on the balloon, even though it was her balloon. Interesting.
Kay, what kind of person was your father?
Daddy was a hero of justice. His job was to catch all the bad people in the world.
So to you, a prosecutor is a hero of justice, huh? I suppose we are, in a sense, as we are the ones who seek guilty verdicts for criminals.
Plus, you know what? Whenever I came to the courthouse, Daddy would buy me my absolute favorite treat, Swiss rolls.
Oh?
I want to be a hero of justice someday, just like Daddy. So I've been working really hard.
I see. And what have you been working hard on?
I've been working hard to keep all the promises Daddy and I made together.
A promise notebook. I take a look inside, Kay.
Sure, okay.
Appears to be an exchange diary of sorts between father and daughter. Mr. Faraday's writing conveys a sense of the kind of man he was. This little notebook just might come in handy later. Thank you for showing it to me, Kay. Promise notebook. Kay's promises to Daddy. Promise 1, never take things from a stranger. Promise 2, never go anywhere with a stranger. Promise 3, always greet people with a smile, even people you don't know. Promise 4, never cry in front of strangers. Promise 5, always try your hardest to learn about things you don't understand. Daddy's job is to make sure that everyone follows the rules. Kay, be a good girl and promise that you'll keep your promises too. Well, that's just fucking recursive. Promise that you'll keep your promises to me, okay? Love, your Daddy. It's funny how they're all anti-stranger, and then you get number 3, which is, you know... still be happy and friendly towards strangers, just, you know... don't... So, note the wording there. Never take things from them. That actually doesn't work for Guanbush's thief suggestion. Never accept things or take things from a stranger. Promise 3 can bite you. She really just abandons the promises after he dies. Well. Miles isn't a stranger to her, so her going places with him is fine. As for the Yatagarasu stuff, I don't know. But 3 and 4 and 5 don't seem to be in breach. Thank you for showing it to me, Kay. I hope you'll continue to work hard and become a hero just like your father.
I'm gonna try.
Hey, Kay, so I'm a detective that catches the bad people, right? That makes me a hero, too.
Yeah, you're really cool too, Gummy.
Yeah, aren't I, Kay?
What is with the two of them?
I hand down verdicts of justice, so that makes me a hero, too.
Yes, and thanks to your also heroic testimony, you almost painted that detective as a vile criminal and sent him off to jail.
I'm really sorry about that.
Gummy is not a bad man, okay?
That poor judge is being treated like a vile criminal rather than a hero of justice. It appears that you and Detective Gumshoe are good friends, Kay.
Yeah, we're friends.
In that case, would you mind telling me a little more about him? So I take it that you ran into Detective Gumshoe earlier.
Yep. I was on my way to see Daddy when I saw Gummy standing there. He was standing in the hallway, staring really hard at the vending machine, so I said hi.
And when was this?
Huh? Oh, before everything got crazy.
How long were the two of you together?
We only talked for a little while, and then we went on our own ways.
That's right, pal. Kay and I only talked for a little while, and that's it.
Oh? Which means we have now confirmed that Kay was in the hallway during the recess, is that right?
Ah, you got me.
I told you to stop picking on Gummy, mister.
Very well then. I'll just have to speak with the good detective in private later. Were you the one who bought this pack of Swiss rolls, Kay?
really have a lot of money. And I somehow made $1 out of all the pennies and quarters I had. But that still wasn't enough, and I really, really wanted one.
Come to think of it, she did come and ask me to exchange a handful of change for $1. And that's when you came and asked me to change your money, correct?
Yeah, thanks a bunch for doing that, mister.
Sure. But let me ask you, even with that $1, you still didn't have enough, correct?
Well, that's why...
Hey, if you bully Kay anymore, I'm gonna have to arrest you, pal.
Need I remind you that you're the one already under arrest?
Ow!
I sense that Kay is going to be less than forthcoming with this question.
Sorry about your roughly thing.
Yes, well, now that it's positively drenched in your nasal mucus... Don't worry, Kay, I have a spare. So here, you can have this one.
But Daddy said... never take things from a stranger.
Ah, it's one of the promises you made in your promise notebook, correct?
Yeah, look, see? It's right here on this page. It's the first one.
All right, then. I'm not giving this to you. I'm merely allowing you to borrow it. You can take it home, wash it nice and clean, and then give it back to me next time we meet.
Okay. Daddy never said I couldn't borrow things with strangers.
Now then, Detective Gumshoe.
Uh-oh.
I believe it is now crystal clear that you were with little Kay in that hallway. And dear sweet Jesus, he did have a spare.
I told you to stop being mean to Gummy!
Hold it! Miles Edgeworth, there's still something you have yet to resolve.
I beg your pardon?
You still haven't offered an explanation for why that man would lie to us.
That's... well...
Gummy, don't tell me you lied for my sake.
Hey, don't worry about it, Kay. Everything's gonna be okay.
Ah, so that's why.
So what was Detective Gumshoe's motive for lying? If you can't explain that, then you can't call this a perfect investigation.
His reason for lying is very simple.
What?
Here is what I believe to be his reason. From simple observation of the detective's actions and his interactions with Kay, it is obvious the detective was lying for the young girl's sake. And this piece of evidence will show you exactly why. Which piece of evidence proves that Detective Gumshoe was lying on account of Kay? The new one.
Take that!
Mr. Faraday and Kay's promise notebook. How does this explain anything?
If you could take a look at this page, it's clearly written that Kay should never take things from a stranger. When Detective Gumshoe heard about that promise, he tried to cover for Kay.
What a foolishly foolish fool's fool of a foolish reason for a fool.
Ow!
Gummy, you lied because of me, didn't you?
Because I'm your friend, Kay, that's why.
Gummy.
At long last, Detective Gumshoe, can you please tell me the whole truth now?
Guess there's no beating you, huh, pal? Okay, I'll spill the goods. I've been standing guard for a while. I was getting really hungry, and that snack vending machine was taunting me.
But all the cash you had on you was $5, and that wasn't enough to buy anything, right? After all, the cheapest item in that machine is a $6 pack of Swiss rolls.
Yeah. Then, like an angel from heaven, Kay showed up.
I was thinking about sharing a snack with Daddy, so I wanted to buy a Swiss roll, but I only had about $1 in coins.
So we pulled my 5 and her 1 together and bought a pack of Swiss rolls.
But I was worried about breaking one of my promises. So then Gummy said,
Mr. Faraday's one scary guy when he gets mad. But don't worry, you won't get in trouble if I don't tell, right? Besides, you bought it with me, so you didn't really get it from me, you know?
he told me it'd be okay. And he gave me a whole roll to save and give to Daddy.
Who knew that Scruffy could be so considerate?
Indeed. Detective, I take it that you then sat down on the bench and ate the rolls together?
Yeah, we split the other roll and ate it right then. The sweet taste of that cake's chocolate. I'll never forget it as long as I live, pal.
So he paid for 5/6 of the price and got to eat a quarter of the fucking rolls? Anyway. Kay, I believe this also belongs to you.
Oh, that's from the balloon I popped.
It's bad manners to leave garbage lying around, Kay.
I'm sorry.
Well, I guess I can't blame you for not throwing this fun piece away. It was sitting high up on a windowsill where you couldn't see it. So just this once, I forgive you.
That balloon. I wanted to surprise Gummy a little, so I popped it on purpose. Because of me, Gummy dropped his half of the Swiss roll.
Oh my god! Wow, you really got me there, pal.
Did he eat anything?
So I thought maybe I should give Gummy this other roll. Then I saw you picking on Gummy, mister.
So you kicked me, is that it?
You sure are a feisty one.
I'm really sorry, mister.
It's alright. I'm perfectly unharmed. What about this Swiss roll? Would it be alright with you if I held on to it until Detective Gumshoe is cleared of all charges and free to go?
Yeah, sure. Just make sure you give it to Gummy afterwards, okay?
Of course, I promise. Now then, I believe we have proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that Detective Gumshoe was in the hallway for the entire duration of his duty, which undeniably proves that Detective Gumshoe could not have committed the double murders.
Objection!
Hey there, you.
Actually, it proves just the opposite, Edgeworth. You've just shown that Detective Gumshoe is the only one who could have committed the crime.
What do you mean?
It's quite rude to eavesdrop, monsieur.
I'm getting lectured on this girl with a penchant for whipping people.
What? How dare you talk back for such insolence?
You're wrong, lady. Gummy's not the bad guy.
Oh, and what have we here? What is a child doing here in the courthouse? Bailiff, please take this child in.
Miss Callisto, you! That girl is Mr. Faraday's...
I know. So what? You think that just because she's the victim's daughter, she gets to just run wild all around the crime scene? I think it's actually quite dangerous for her. Speak nothing of getting underfoot.
I suppose you're right. However...
As long as we're in agreement on that point, let's get back to the real issue at hand. Now then. Detective, you were in front of the door to lobby number 2 the entire time, correct?
Yeah, but
You see, isn't it obvious that it could only be the detective? He is the only person who could have gone into lobby number 2 at the time of the murders.
I have no counter-argument for that.
Don't worry, I've already put in the necessary paperwork for his formal arrest.
But the investigation is far from over!
Oh, that's right, I was going to speak with you about that. Don't you think it's reckless to talk to the suspect out in the open without a guard?
I suppose it is.
Well, as someone with more experience in law than you, allow me to share something. Always keep a good eye on the criminal, or you may regret what comes of your negligence. Miles, I can't believe you're letting this woman lecture you like this. This is unforgivable as a disciple of Mr. Von Karma. Down, Tigress. Now then, I'll be looking forward to the results of your investigation. So, we're back to square one.
Actually, this is our last chance. I can tell that if we fail to solve this case, Detective Gumshoe will be formally charged under all of the circumstantial evidence. This investigation is not over yet. There's still one location we have yet to inspect. It's where Detective Bad and Miss Yu were at the time of the crime. Lobby number 1. And there, finally, is the to be continued. I don't know if I really have time to do the next section. I certainly will tomorrow. If I hadn't just decided to make it 2 days, I'd probably keep going and push it, but, like, looking ahead at the overall size, like the amount of stuff that's in the next part, like the fourth part is really short, but the third part is just as long as 1 and 2, and these have been quite a bit. So it might be safest to not do the thing?
Certainly I am. Just about overheating in here as well. Takes a while to save. From the looks of it, there's an investigation not too long after. So I might go until the investigation starts and then stop there, since I don't have to wait a week. So the main reason why I like to stop at to be continued points is because I don't want to have to pick up after 7 days of not playing it in the middle of a scene and not remember what the last lines were. But since we'll be picking up tomorrow, I'll go until we get to the investigation starting. So that seems workable. That way we're not wasting too much time. Okay. September 10, 5:45 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 1. What is this incredibly overpowering sweet scent?
It smells like flowers.
Uncle Bad! Is this it?
Isn't that Detective Bad and Kay over there?
It looks like she managed to escape the bailiff.
No, that's not quite it.
Aw, too bad. But it's so pretty.
I think you're still a bit too young to be wearing that. But since you found it, I guess I can let you keep it.
Thanks. I'll treasure it always.
Those two seem to get along rather well.
Oh, here. I've got something else for you.
Yay! Thank you, Uncle Bad. Earlier I ate one of these with Gummy.
Gummy? No, you mean Gumshoe.
Gummy is... He was trying to be nice to me because I was gonna get in trouble. And then he got in trouble because he lied to protect me. Gummy... I know he didn't kill Daddy.
Don't cry. Faraday would be sad if he saw you crying.
I'm not crying.
Okay.
Oh, it's the mister from before, and the lady, too.
Don't you think it would be a good idea to go home for the time being?
You're not involved in the investigation, so it's for the best if you do.
Actually, I'm Uncle Bad's assistant. So I'm related to the investigation.
Is that so, Detective Bad?
Yeah, I guess.
What? You were just scolding us like kids to not mess up the crime scene. And now you let this child run free? Why?
People are free to investigate things outside of the actual crime scene. You also had a few things she wanted to look into. Got a problem with that?
I don't have a problem with it, but I'm curious as to what Ms. Yu is looking into.
Uncle Bad, I'm gonna go look somewhere else now, okay?
All right. I'm counting on you.
Oh, that's right. He missed her.
Yes? What is it?
I know Gummy really isn't the bad guy. I mean it. So please, find the real bad guy, okay?
I won't forgive whoever did this. But in the absence of the perfect piece of testimony and evidence, there is no one else who could be the true culprit other than the Detective Gumshoe. She wandered off while I was pondering. Alright, we're free to move now. Let's... Give me a moment. I will be back. I'm just going to quickly pee.
So yeah, we won't go to the next to be continued because I do not have time, but we'll stop at like either the beginning or end of an investigation. Probably the beginning. It's probably safer to finish a little earlier than a little late. Since I don't have to wait a week. Also, next week and the week after, I do not have the thing happening that normally cuts my Saturday stream short. I may still not go all the way to 4. I might use that extra time to maybe do some auditions and stuff. But the point is, I won't need to worry too much about finishing early next week and the week after. So hopefully over those 2 weeks, we can get through Case 5 and finish this game up. Shouldn't... It's I try not to underestimate the length of a final case. But we'll have 4 full streams plus however much of tomorrow, so should be right.
What an incredibly strong scented herbal tea.
I fear that more than being relaxing, this scent may make one a bit heady instead.
You put in a special request for that.
No, I didn't. What are you talking about?
No wonder she's so violent if she's been drinking this stuff the whole time.
Neither woman should be allowed to comment on that particular topic. Ever. It may not look like much, but I find that ordinary tables like this one are very useful.
I think it's time they bought a new one. I wonder if they will replace this table if I hit it enough with my whip.
A much too heavy-handed method if I ever saw one. This television is the same model as the one in Defendant Lobby number 2.
Looks like the 2 rooms are basically the same in terms of layout and supplies.
Yes. The 2 rooms are basically the same, huh? I can see down into the courthouse courtyard from here.
What is that mess supposed to be? It's like an optical illusion.
I believe it's supposed to be postmodern in design.
More like thoughtlessness in design.
I can't disagree there. This decorative plant's leaves are shinier than the ones in the plant in lobby number 2.
That's probably because it's next to the windows, where it's easier to photosynthesize.
You may be right. Plus, the curtains are always drawn in lobby number 2.
The caretakers of this courthouse don't think enough about the plants, do they?
That's because they're the courthouse's caretakers, not a bunch of botanists. One of the windows in this lobby is open as well. The air conditioner is working just fine in this room, so why did they open it, I wonder? That expensive painting is ill-suited to be hanging on the wall of this room.
I wonder if a guard detail should be placed on it.
Why do you say that?
Well, a desperate low-paid detective might make off with it someday. You never know.
She may be thinking about hiring a guard, but it's obvious she isn't factoring in that guard's salary whatsoever. Whoops. I just talked to the man, not look at the window. Detective Bad, what exactly was Kay searching for?
Nothing that concerns you, boy. Oh? And I suppose it has something to do with Kay?
It does, because she's Faraday's daughter. Anyway, hurry up and get to the point. I don't have time to waste.
It sounds like he'd rather be left alone. I have something I'd like to confirm with you once again.
I don't have anything to say to you.
Be that as it may, we still have questions that we need answers to. Now then, first of all, what is the overpowering smell that is permeating this room? Upon entering this room, I thought I was going to suffocate.
It's that ultra-strong perfume Hugh wears.
I don't wear... Shut up!
She spilled some of it. I was having a bad time of it all myself.
You're having a bad time? You? Wouldn't that be more of a you time? Not to be confused with a you time.
didn't think twice and opened the window, but that smell's still here.
Perfume, huh? So the sweet scent in the air is perfume.
Well, it's giving off quite a stench. I bet it's some cheap no-name brand.
She said it's a famous brand from overseas.
It's a knockoff. Yes, definitely a knockoff.
No disrespect, but she forced one of those bottles on me. Here, little girl, you can have it.
I've a spawn for a much more expensive and refined perfume. However, seeing as how you just happen to have a spare, I suppose I'll take it. Miles Edgeworth, you will hold on to this bottle without fail.
Why can't she ever be honest about her wants? Ms. Yu's perfume data jotted down in my organizer. Interesting. So now we have the perfume Ms. Yu wears. Just fantastic.
Is that all you wanted to talk about? If so, I'm going back to investigating.
Actually, I still have a few other things I wish to inquire about. First, evidence.
Does showing that off make you feel like a big, strong prosecutor?
Yeah, we've shown him this before. And that. We've showed him everything from the first page. Maybe not the second page.
That snack has quite a history attached to it for me.
I'm not sure I follow.
Our recently departed Faraday loved the courthouse special Swiss rolls. And his daughter Kay also seems to have taken a liking to them. The three of us used to sit around eating them together. I guess that's why we wanted to get Detective Gumshoe into them too. But look at the sticky situation that came out of that.
Actually, the biggest reasons for the sticky situation we find ourselves in are the absolute poverty of that scruff face and his unnecessary soft-heartedness.
Unforgiving as always, I see. Nothing there.
It's just as I said. I have nothing further to add. But if there's one thing a detective honors, it's that you must have confidence in and take responsibility for anything you say.
We've heard that one too. Nothing on the Promise Notebook, which is interesting because he seems to know Kay rather well.
I'm not a big fan of perfume.
So exactly what kind of relationship do you have with Ms. Yu?
Like I told you.
Right, but now you're telling me, as opposed to Ms. Yu.
Do you do this deliberately?
We're connected through the victim of the KG-8 incident, her younger sister. I was supposed to protect her. And I failed in my duties. Just another pathetic detective. After that, Cochin's not guilty verdict sparked our pursuit of the case. Me as detective and she as a lawyer.
In other words, they're still working together. So you were in this room the entire recess?
Like I said, I made a call to the precinct to get that big lug down here. But other than that, I was waiting for the recess to end in here.
At least your story is consistent.
Earlier you stated that you were in this lobby with Ms. Yu.
Yeah, I ran into her in the hallway. She said she wanted to talk to me about something, so we came in here.
Then what you're saying is that until Detective Gumshoe's arrival, you and Ms. Yu were in two different locations.
Guess I am.
Interesting.
Speaking of that lawyer, she seems to have a great dislike for you.
Let's see, Ms. Yu was the sister of the victim of the KG-8 incident, and as I recall, Detective Bad was the lead detective on the case. I wonder if the reason for her disdain isn't simply because you failed to guard Cece, but because you were the lead detective on the case.
You knew?
I'm not sure whether she knew or not, but I know. I also know that today's trial involving the Kodopian embassy staff member is being referred to as the second KG-8 incident. Now then, Detective, I believe it's time you were honest with me and told me the truth behind your relationship with Ms. Yu and Mr. Faraday and the KG-8 incident.
If you already know that much, I guess it'd be alright to tell you.
Now then, I'd like to ask you a few questions about the KG-8 incident.
It's not exactly a happy story. Other than the people who were directly involved, you two will be the first to hear what I'm about to tell. The honest truth behind the KG-8 incident. Faraday, you and I
don't remember any involvement.
Shut your hole. As you already know, we three were involved with the KG-8 incident. Faraday and I, we were originally on the trail of a smuggling ring.
You mean the smuggling case involving one of the Amano Group's secretaries?
That trial was just a front.
A facade?
Yeah, but the case became tainted. All because the witness who was going to testify about the Amano Group's ties to the smuggling ring, CCU, was killed.
Then what became of the secretary who was arrested?
His name was Colin Deveray. To be honest, the guy didn't know a thing about the smuggling ring. But he confessed to knowing about it anyway. Deveray was probably being intimidated by the big boss man. Just another scapegoat.
The boss man of the Amano Group? He can't seriously mean Mr. Ernest Amano. That can't be right. It's probably just Detective Bad's personal hypothesis. What is he trying to do, suspecting Mr. Amano of being involved with smuggling?
I suppose it would have been quite difficult to secure an acquittal after he confessed. But the man who killed CCU, Manny Cochin, was a completely different person. But since he's already been acquitted once of her murder... Mr. Faraday, how could you have let him go?
If I remember correctly, I heard that Mr. Faraday had an important piece of evidence stolen from him.
That wasn't Faraday's fault. It was mine. I wasn't vigilant enough. Faraday, Cece, I was supposed to protect them both.
Ms. Yu did mention that as well. About how Detective Bad was supposed to guard her sister.
But even I, who was supposed to protect them, I fell into their trap.
What kind of a trap?
The holes in this jacket are a testament to that trap.
You mean you were fired upon?
You were shot at that many times in one gunfight.
No. Only about half of these are from that case. But the reason I continue to wear this jacket is to remind myself of the lessons I learned from the KG-8 incident.
I see.
I couldn't protect CCU, and the suspect was found not guilty. We had hit a brick wall, as far as the law was concerned. And that's when she came to the courtroom. The victim's sister. That's when I first met Callisto Yu.
About when you first met Ms. Yu. It was on the day the verdict of the KGA incident was handed down, was it not?
Yeah. Faraday and I. We apologized to her from the bottom of our hearts. It was all we could do, but... just saying you're sorry won't bring my sister back, she said. And then she gave me a hard slap across the face.
Well, she certainly had a lot of self-control to stop with just a slap. If it was me, not even 100 lashes would have been punishment enough.
And what sibling would you be mourning? I suppose not. You said it yourself. Herself. God fucking damn it, now I'm doing it. That she never wanted to see either of us ever again.
But after that, you've seen her many times over, correct?
Yeah. Faraday and I. Even after the KG-8 incident had come to a close, we continued to hunt down the smuggling ring and got involved in a variety of cases. But it was no use. We cracked so many different cases. But the result was always the same. We couldn't find the real mastermind behind the ring.
Is the ring really that big?
It was in the pursuit of the ring that we met you once again. It was during another trial related to the smug... Aren't you gonna make a joke?
I think I finally run out of them.
Wow. It was during another trial related to the smuggling ring. Faraday was the prosecutor, and I, as the lead detective, took to the witness stand. You. She appeared out of the blue as the defense attorney. Her client was related to the smuggling ring.
Oh, her client was related to the smuggling ring and she was defending them?
Yeah. You was pursuing the ring as best she could as a lawyer. I think she defended Rel this time for the same reason.
Come to think of it, Ms. Yu did say something to the same effect.
I have my own agenda. I'm still on the hunt for leads regarding the KG-8 incident, all right?
And for that, you have not a single qualm about defending a known killer?
Don't put words in my mouth. I said no such thing. The only way I had to get close to Mr. Rel was to be his lawyer. I had no intention of covering for him. Ever. So don't you dare suggest I was going to. It doesn't matter what their reason is. Helping a criminal is just despicable.
You're so naive, little girl. I could have stolen this lollipop from you. That's how naive you are.
How dare you insult the daughter of a Von Karma?
Just like us, you felt that she had hit the limit of what the law could do. That's all.
The law is merely a tool. There is no limit to it, only the skill of the craftsman.
You two are still too young. But one day you'll know what I mean. But enough sidetracking. What matters is that we met you again in pursuit of the smuggling ring.
But we just met for the first time to...
That's all.
So what was your relation to Mr. Faraday? You even seem to know Kay fairly well.
I met him when he was a rookie prosecutor. Known him ever since. And Kay, I've known her since the day she was born. Faraday and I, we cracked quite a few cases together.
But you two seem to have made no progress at all in the Yatagarasu case.
Did we touch a nerve?
I only have one thing to say to you. No one knew more about the Yatagarasu than me and Faraday. That's why I was called upon to testify in today's trial, to prove that Rel was not the real Yatagarasu, which I would have done if he hadn't turned around and accused Faraday. After the accusation, I was asked to testify, but this time, to prove or disprove the accusation. But I guess I won't be doing that either.
I sense that there's more to this statement than meets the eye. Perhaps a bit more digging into the Yatagarasu is what's necessary. You claim to know much about the Yatagarasu. Would you care to share what you know with me?
What you two should be looking for right now is proof of murderous intent towards Faraday and Rel.
I agree, which is exactly why I am asking you about the Yatagarasu.
What?
The KG-8 incident and this second KG-8 incident, both of these cases are tied to the smuggling ring. And in both of these cases, the witness who was to testify about the ring was murdered. However, there is one point in which they differ, and that is the presence or absence of the great thief Yatagarasu. Mr. Rel claimed to be the Yatagarasu, however, in the middle of the trial, he suddenly declared Mr. Faraday to be the real Yatagarasu. Then, during the recess, they were both killed. Don't you find that to be the least bit odd?
Miles Edgeworth, stop beating around the bush and just spit it out already.
I believe that there must be some reason that the two men suspected of being the Yatagarasu were both killed at the same time.
A reason, huh?
And so in order to catch Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel's cold-blooded killer, I feel that I need to learn as much as I can about the Yatagarasu.
If it will help you solve this case, then I'll tell you. I'll tell you the reason why we've never caught the Yatagarasu.
What was that sudden outburst for? You almost made me whip you by accident.
Ah! It still accidentally whipped me anyway.
There are three main reasons why the Yatagarasu will always be one step ahead. First, the Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. Second, the Yatagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security system. Third, the Yatagarasu doesn't leave a single shred of evidence behind ever.
I see. So those are the Yatagarasu's special traits.
Sounds like an incredibly elusive thief.
The Yatagarasu has never been caught on tape, never tries to draw anyone's attention, and would never do something as lowbrow as commit murder. That's how I knew that Rel wasn't the real Yatagarasu right away.
You sound awfully defensive of this thief you're supposedly hunting.
But you can't use that sort of logic on its own to prove that he wasn't.
Listen, little girl, I'm not done talking yet.
Ugh.
What's different about this time was that evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police. And the sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Kodopian embassy, the Yatagarasu.
The Yatagarasu sent the evidence.
Until now, the Yatagarasu would always publicize any corrupt dealings through the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few others, knew about.
In that case, how can you be so sure that it was the Yatagarasu who sent it?
That's easy. A special card that only the Yatagarasu uses was attached. That's how I can be so sure.
And just what sort of card is it?
Here, take a look at this article. Whenever the Yatagarasu wants to publicize something, a white card is sent along with the stolen information. But when we questioned Rel about what was sent along with the white card, Rel had no idea what it was.
Ah, and that's how Detective Bad knew that Mr. Rel was a phony. Thank you very much. I have a much better understanding of the Yatagarasu now. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes. His Honor would like to transfer the evidence from today's trial over to you. And what does that have to do with me? If Miss Yu is going to receive the evidence, that's her business. No, to you. Not to you. To you. What? So if you could please head over to the courtroom, it'd be much appreciated, sir. Understood. I'll be there shortly. Detective Bad, what does the law mean to you?
Finding the answer to that question is the only reason I'm still alive.
I became a prosecutor to find the answer to that question myself, and to play a part in ensuring that all criminals everywhere are found guilty. September 10, District Court, Courtroom number 3. I think now I stop. Because it's probably going to take more than 20 minutes to do the next section. I don't know how long it is. We got a solid conversation with
bad there, learned some new things, and now we have a sequence break. I'm gonna do some save states, because I may load from those, but I may also be able to just load from the suspend point. Anyway, thanks for that, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow with more of this, now that we have our Sundays free. I might start a little later, just because, like, officially we have the 6-hour time slot, and I'm not officially reducing it, but I might start later and finish early, just because these games do take a lot out of my throat. So it might be a wise idea to start at 11 instead of 10, like I normally do. And then go till whenever I feel like I need to stop, because I might only be able to do 4 hours before I'm, like, hurting. Then again, I can take breaks on Sunday, because I got the larger time slot. I can take... You notice I don't take a break on Saturday anymore. It's purely because we're shoved in and we have less time. But every other day of the week I will. So instead of that, I eat as soon as the stream finishes. But anyway, I'll figure out what I'm doing tomorrow. Play it by ear. But yeah, just be aware that the start time might not be right on 10 if I'm like, I'll give it some time. Anyway, fare thee well.